Do you really understand what you're putting in people's skin? Let's make it organic and inorganic pigment edition, okay? For you to really be able to understand the differences between the two, you have to understand what is a pigment, and that will be a substance that gives color to something. When it does that, it has to be pretty stable in the skin. So it has to be resistant to sun, it has to be pretty stable in its physical form, and it cannot be dissolved by water or oil. When you think about your inorganic pigment, they are also called mineral pigments. They are essentially crushed up rocks. So this is what iron oxide looks like, at least one of them. And this is where titanium dioxide can be sourced out of. Well, Mother Nature gave us this beautiful gift, closed the door on it, all done. Now we have a limited amount of colors that we can source out of those minerals. And off the bat, they are pretty stable in the skin. So they require, per se, little processing, okay? Now, when you're thinking about your organic pigments, the main difference is they come from organisms. So they will be coming from an insect or maybe a plant. First of all, that is kind of hard to source because it's pretty unreliable, it's expensive, it's time consuming, it's hard to get approved. So all of those different things are kind of stacking up against us. But when we finally are able to do that, it is not enough to just go ahead and implant that in the skin, because what comes out of those living organisms is not a ready to go pigment, unlike your inorganic pigments. It's actually a dye or a colorant. A dye or a colorant does not pass those three requirements of being resistant to light, undissolvable in water and oil, and stable in its form. So something else in the lab has to happen to it. And once we start messing in the lab, we pretty much do not stop. So what I mean by that is you take the dye from your organic source, and then you add metal salt to it. So you basically marry it with something that will give it those pigment properties, and then you will get the pigment that you need, okay? But since we are already in the lab, a lot of different manipulation is allowed. So that's when all of those different colors come from, because now we can start tweaking, messing around, adding things to allow us to have all this different variety of colors, intensity of colors, shades of colors, etc. The most important thing to understand here is, please use suppliers who pay close attention to where all of those ingredients are sourced in, and use really good practices on processing all those substances so that you feel good and safe about what you're putting in your client's skin. That's why I am a die-hard Clinita fan. If you want to know more, ask me all the questions.